Hello, this is Chuck Solomon, and welcome to the Candidate Experience Podcast, where we focus on the job candidate journey from apply to onboard and the space in between. Let's get started. You care about the candidate experience, but have you ever wondered exactly how to bring your company to that next level and offer a world-class experience to your candidates? It's not easy. Fortunately, Candidate.fyi can help. Their solution guides candidates through your hiring journey, enhancing transparency and communication at every touch point. You'll also gain valuable insights on what's working and what's not with your hiring process. Best of all, it integrates directly with your ATS. Head on over to Candidate.fyi and see how to transform your company's candidate experience today. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Candidate Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Chuck Solomon, and today we have Alicia Parr with us. Welcome, Alicia.
Hello.
Great to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks, Chuck.
Awesome. I know you pretty well. We've known each other for a couple of years, but other people listening might not have heard your name before. So tell us a little about you and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. My name is Alicia Parr. I have a small, growing HR fractional firm called Perform Mentor, and we've been in business for a little over 3 years. And we help businesses that are growing. They're usually between 10 and 100 employees, and we really just specialize in helping those people succeed. And it's going great. So that's what I do.
Awesome. How long have you been in business?
So we've been in business for a little over 3 years. My background, I've been in human resources for about 20. And like maybe a little known secret is that even though I'm fascinated with people, I also think like an engineer. So I tried to hide out for a while as an employee, but finally it was time to kind of burst through the gates and start Perform Mentor.
So you're like a lurker, or you're a toe dipper before you jump right in.
That's right. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, and for those that are just joining us for the first time, we're really about trying to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the job candidate experience here, with really the emphasis on making things better and a more positive. And when I say better and more positive, I mean for everyone involved. The candidate first and foremost, but also hiring managers, anyone involved in HR and stuff as well. But I wanted to share with you first a quote about that I just read. It's by a professor at Wharton. His name is Dr. Peter Cappelli, and I thought it actually kind of encapsulated sort of what we're talking about here. And this was just in the Wall Street Journal a week or so ago. So here it is. Dr. Cappelli says, companies often say people are their most important asset, but for many, you'd never know it by the way they actually go about hiring those people.
Amen.
Yeah. I was like, this is the first sentence of this long article that I wish there was a way that I can't share it over here, but if anyone messages me through LinkedIn, I'll certainly try to find the link and share it with them. But it's an awesome article about really the candidate experience, what we're going to talk about. But I wanted to ask you, do you have a, really bad candidate experience yourself personally, or if you don't want to share personally, happy to hear about if you've heard about a bad candidate experience. I think we need to sort of talk about the bad so we can get to the good. So
absolutely, yeah. Start with the lurid underbelly of things. This has been something that's been really important to me. So when I share an experience, my goodness, I sure hope it's nothing that I've been involved in on the provider side.
Of course,
but
never.
Oh gosh, it's so important. But I will say, a few years ago, when I was still, I'm like going, do I get another job or do I start my business? And so I did a couple of interviews, and the most striking thing was when I went through in an application process, an online application process, and I don't even remember the name of the company, but it took at least an hour to get through everything. Even though I had a prepared resume, everything had to be re-entered, and I felt like I was giving the same information over and over. The user experience was just so horrible, and I just left it. And I remember finishing up, turning to my husband and saying, I'm just really sure that all of the recruiters at this company hate me, but not just me, but like everybody that applies, because that's how it feels right now. And I'm just like, I don't even know why I went through that process, because why would I want to work someplace that treats people like that before they've even met me? So that's certainly, and of course they had a careers page, and I'm sure they talked about how wonderful it is to work there with pictures of smiling people. But the minute I'm interested, it's painful. And I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. So that's my story.
Did you actually go through the whole process and spend the hour, or did you give up?
Yeah. No, I didn't give up.
You didn't give up.
Well, I went through it once, but I think I came across another similar situation. I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. No, we're not doing that.
So if you had the ear of the CEO of that company that you did apply for, and you could give them like some constructive feedback on, that your 1 hour spent on there, what would you tell that person?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd want to find out like how important are customers to you and your business, and how important is the customer experience to you and your business.
Gotcha.
And what the answer is going to be, right? So it's very important because it is. And I said, well, I have to tell you that my experience as a candidate did not reflect what you would like your customer experience to reflect. And if that's how it feels to be employed, or even just to ask to be employed, to be considered at your company, I can tell you that it's going to be a hard switch to make for people to treat the customers better than they feel treated themselves. So I would say take a look at that. There's a lot of simple ways to make that a lot better.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think you see it. See what some companies get it. Some companies are still trying to get around to getting it. But the way I look at it is it's 2019, folks. Like, we need to sort of get moving here. Unemployment's at 4%, in some areas even less in the U.S., and we should really get to it. So awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Let's get back to it. What are you seeing? I know you spend a lot of time consulting and in the market space, but what are you seeing, in the market space where, companies, in your opinion, are doing a good job with candidate experience, or doing it well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think at a broad level, the more that you look at recruiting, very much the same way as you treat your sales funnel and your customer experience. It's like, so really, the more you see HR folks collaborating with your marketing team or the marketing agency, what have you, to make sure that everything is in sync and just coming up with new ideas. That's better. For example, I used to work with a firm that's a digital marketing agency, Demand Zen, and and that we exactly did that. That's what they did as digital marketing. So they're like, let's make sure that all the steps in our recruiting process and then all the messaging is really on point, in keeping with our core core values, and get people progressively excited about the opportunity as they go through it. And we just did that step by step, documented it out just the way they do for their clients. We did that for the recruiting side of things, and really think that makes a difference. And that's something, of course, I think is important to do, even if it's not a digital marketing agency, if it's any employer. I think really thinking things through strategically that way is really critical.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've shared this with you previously, but I know I've shared it with others that I've given this advice to a couple of recruiting acquaintances. I know that there was just suggestions because they're oftentimes heads down in the recruiting process. And I'm like, if you really want to work on your employer branding and all that, you don't really need to go far. Every company has a marketing department, and their mission or goal is to be on brand with the company's brand, and your employer brand kind of is your consumer brand in a way. So I've always suggested that folks just go have lunch, have coffee with your marketing department. The more time you spend with those folks, the more you'll see how the consumer experience with the brand could also be mirrored in the candidate experience. So,
100%, yeah,
awesome. So, how would if you were starting? I'm looking at blue sky here. In a perfect world, and you could design the perfect, most stellar candidate experience ever imaginable. I mean, what would that look like?
I've got one client I've been working with for a little over a year, Chapel Hill Tire, and they have, it's like the best kept secret. You don't even have, you can high school degree or an associate's degree, and you can have a really, really amazing career in a family friendly environment. Their core values are really put into practice really, really well. And they invest completely in the ongoing development of their people. And you wouldn't have known it. One of the first things that
I've driven by there a million times. I didn't know that.
And you should. That's where you should get your vehicle worked on and your oil changed if you're not under warranty anywhere.
Right.
They're fantastic people, and so we just started with kind of what are the simplest things first, but we have really, not only have we put together, kind of your basic systems or applicant tracking system, we made sure that the voice and is just right in all of our canned emails. They don't sound canned; they sound personal, and they sound like we're talking to you, just like you would feel if you were talking to the employees and the service advisors about your vehicle.
Sure.
And we built relationships with all of the area community colleges and really continuing to find more and more ways. And so really I mapped out an entire strategy. Here's all the channels that are possible for us to find the best people. Here's the ones that we're underutilizing. And then we have just gone after it and continue to try and get better and better and better and better and better. And quite honestly, this is a hard field to recruit for.
I know.
Especially like you said, the unemployment rate,
Right.
But we're caught up. We get caught up. We're getting great people. It's still, it's not 100%, but is it ever? But, and so it's amazing what you could accomplish over a longer period of time by making small changes and then continuing to keep improving. So what are all of our channels? Are we using all of our channels? I really just map that whole process out. And then everyone, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say, have you done a net promoter score or some sort of survey of candidates that have gone through that process? Have you gotten to that point yet?
No, but
there's an idea for you.
We do. Yeah, it is a good idea. We do NPS with customers, and we just started doing the employee NPS for everybody, but we hadn't done feedback about the candidate experience. We should do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I'm full of them sometimes, or full of it sometimes. Awesome.
That's great.
That's a great example. And I think you're talking about a small business, so I'm assuming they have a limited budget on this stuff, and you're working on trying to improve that whole experience there. So that's awesome.
That's right. That's
awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. So what did I miss? I didn't ask you? Is there anything else you want to share here?
Gosh, I guess what you pointed out, I guess some people might think, well, in order to do something really fancy, I need a lot of money,
Sure.
And I would have to be a big company.
Sure.
But there are so many. I think the baseline some people have gotten very cynical about the application process, and it actually doesn't take a whole lot to stand out.
Sure.
So don't let the perfect be the enemy of the better.
Right.
Is that the right statement? but it's very, very true.
Phrase, yeah. That was a good paraphrase.
I think I may have bungled that, but it's incredibly true. If you can just be appreciably better than your competition is, and competition in terms of who you're trying to attract to work with you, that's going to make a big, big difference. And then you just commit to what could we do better this quarter? And then you'll look back after a few years and say, wow, we have come very, very far. And people will be wondering how you did it. So any of you can do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. If people want to go ahead and get a hold of you, how would people do that?
Yeah, thank you. Our website is performmentor.biz. And to spell that, performentor.biz, or if you type in .com, that'll get you there as well. My name is Alicia Parr. I'm the principal. I've got a wonderful team. Please reach out to any of us. We're all available on LinkedIn. You can find all my contact information on the website as well. I just love, part of my job is to talk to interesting, smart people doing really cool things. And it doesn't matter if it's a business conversation or not. That's what I do. So reach out. Happy to help.
Well, thanks for having a conversation with me today. I appreciate your input.
I always enjoy talking to you, Chuck.
Likewise. Well, take care. Thanks for listening to the Candidate Experience Podcast. You can reach out to us via our website, thecx.xyz. That's thecx.xyz.